teacups and happy vlogmas day 10. Today I am going to be sharing my favorite books of 2021, and I can't believe we are almost done with the year. We're almost done with vlogmas, but I really wanted to share some of the best books I have come across this year. I have divided them into 10 different categories. I have my favorite holiday read, my favorite rom-com, young adult, middle grade, classic, thriller, mystery, book that made me cry, rereads, and nonfiction. So since it is Christmas Eve, I wanted to start this off with my favorite holiday read. So my favorite holiday read for 2021 and possibly ever, this is The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox. And this follows the story of Cass and Charlie, and they are twin sisters who decide to switch places 12 days leading up to Christmas. Charlie is a co-host for a reality baking show in Los Angeles, and Cass works for her family bakery at their little hometown called Starlight Peak. And Starlight Peak is so much like Gilmore Girls. It's so cozy and cute, and this definitely is the most wholesome holiday read I've ever read. And we have two love interests in the story. We have rugged firefighter Jake Greenman, and we have gorgeous physician assistant Miguel Rodriguez. And Jake is my favorite. If you've seen my reading vlog, you know why. And I did promise you guys that I would give you a final update on my thoughts for this book. So I did end up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. If you are looking for something that is just really light and cozy, I definitely recommend. The next category is romantic comedy, and for this I have chosen Beach Read by Emily Henry. This book was such a game changer for me because I never really considered romance to be one of my favorite genres until I read this book. I cannot stop thinking about this book. I read it back in June. My friend Taylor got me this book for my birthday, and we did a buddy read on this, and we just love this book so much. And this follows the story of two authors. We have Gus, who is a literary fiction author, and we have January, who is a romance author, and they both have writer's block, so they decide to switch genres. And I think what is so special about this book is as Gus was falling in love with the romance genre, I was as well. So I just really felt that connection to Gus, and I just love Gus and January as a couple. They have such great chemistry, and yeah, I think this is just such a great way to really get into the romance genre. The next category is young adult, and YA fiction will always have a special place in my heart. I have read so many young adult contemporaries this year, but this one is my personal favorite. This is A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow. This follows the story of Leela. She is from Miami, but she goes to England for the summer, and she unexpectedly falls in love with a tea shop clerk, and she falls in love with England itself. And this is such a Hufflepuff book. It has sweets, it has beautiful scenery, it has the cutest love story, and it's just cozy like a warm sweater. The next category is middle grade, and I am 29 years old, but I will never be too old for middle grade books. This is The Gilded Girl by Alyssa Coleman, and this is a retelling of A Little Princess. It has magical realism, it's also historical fiction, and it just has a really beautiful theme of friendship, and there's also a talking cat. Next up is the classic genre. So this year I read the Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis, and this is one of those books that I will be thinking about for the rest of my life. It really made an impact on me, and it's from a very interesting perspective. You have the senior demon who is writing letters to his nephew, and basically he is teaching his nephew how to win over a human soul, and it's such an interesting concept. And I think that even though this was written back in the 40s, I believe, it is such a timeless read, and yeah, it's gonna stick with me for forever. Next up is the thriller category, and I love a good thriller, and this one definitely kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time. I tried to guess the ending, but the ending just completely took me by surprise. I did do a reading vlog of this at the beginning of the year, and it was so much fun. This is The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and this follows a wedding on a remote island in Ireland. It is very atmospheric, very creepy, and I love how you get the point of view of the bride, the plus one, the best man, the wedding planner, and the bridesmaid. All have a secret, all have a motive, but only one is a murderer. The next category is the mystery category, and this is Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I love this trilogy, and I am so excited to read the third and final book. I would say that's probably one of my most anticipated reads for 2022, and this follows the story of a girl named Pip, and she is trying to solve the mystery of a disappearance in her hometown. And I really love the podcast element of the story. So Pip has a true crime podcast, and along with the story you also get to read the podcast episodes, and it's just so interesting. And this one also had me guessing right to the very end. Next up is the book that made me cry, and that is You've Reached Sam, and this follows the story of a girl named Julie, and she has her future all planned out up until her boyfriend tragically passes away, and Julie decides to call his cell phone just to listen to his voicemail, but to her surprise, Sam answers the phone. This has such a beautiful air of mystery to it, and it also just deals with grief in such a unique way, and it's kind of the book that I really needed this year, and yeah, it will definitely make you cry, so have your tissues ready. Next up is the favorite rereads category, and for this I have chosen The Summer I Turned Pretty. I actually did a reread of this whole trilogy within, I want to say like 24 hours. It was so much fun. This follows the story of Belly, and every summer she spends it with the Fisher boys. We have Conrad Fisher, who is the older brother, and then we have Jeremiah Fisher, who is the younger brother. Let me know in the comments down below if you are Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah. I am definitely Team Conrad. The next reread that was my absolute favorite this year is one of my favorite books of all time. This is To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and this follows Lara Jean, who writes letters to all of the boys she's loved before, and somehow all of those love letters get sent out to all of the boys. And this also has a really cute fake dating story. I love Lara Jean, I love Peter Kay, I love Lara Jean's sisters. We have Margot, who is the older sister, and Kitty, who is the younger sister. And last but not least is the nonfiction category, and for this I have chosen New Morning Mercies by Paul David Tripp. This is a daily gospel devotional, and I have tried to read this every single day. Sometimes I don't read it, but for the most part I do read it every morning, and this is something that I really sincerely look forward to every day, and it's just a big part of my morning routine, and it has different passages for every day. and at the bottom it has different Bible verses for further study and encouragement. And last but not least, to go along with the devotional, I have my Bible. So this was the year that I started reading the entire Bible for the very first time. I have been a Christian throughout all of my life, but I was always very intimidated by reading the whole Bible, and I asked my dad what would be a good Bible to kind of break down all of the information, and he suggested an ESV study Bible. So this is my study Bible. It's from Hosanna Revival. I'll have it linked down below. This has so many extra resources, which is so great, and it has the original text, and then it has additional information down below. It has maps, it has timelines, it has additional info in the back of the Bible, and I am only about 36% of the way through, but I'm excited to keep going with it in 2022. And this is definitely my most prized possession. And yeah, I think so far my favorite book of the Bible is the book of Luke. So yeah, that concludes my favorite books of 2021. Let me know in the comments down below which books were your favorites, and I will see you guys again soon for Vlogmas Day 11. Bye!